More than entertainment.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, 6 more bodies found in St. Elizabeth as a death toll from Melissa climbs. PNP's spearheads its first of several missions into Westmoreland. Millions donated by US and the UK towards hurricane relief in Jamaica. And the youngsters' plan to aid children expanded. Of course, we have sports for you a bit later on. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Sunday, November 2, 2025. I am Caroline Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. At least 6 bodies which were in Brighton district near Newmarket in St. Elizabeth were finally removed today. 4 were said to be in one house along with a woman and her young baby that a roof reportedly fell on. An injured woman was airlifted to hospital after suffering an injury to her leg. The residents were marooned since Hurricane Melissa made landfall last Tuesday. They were out of food and water, but managed to find a location with a weak cell signal to call for help. Contact was made with the Jamaica Defence Force, the JDF, Sunday morning. The soldiers arrived on the ground with food supplies and water within 2.5 hours of being notified. Now, they also had medical personnel and body bags. It's understood some of the residents didn't make it through the conditions of the storm, while others succumbed to injuries from structures that collapsed. Now, the United Kingdom has mobilized £5 million in additional humanitarian aid to support the ongoing relief for response here in Jamaica. Meanwhile, Venezuela has sent emergency supplies. El Salvador has deployed soldiers to assist on the ground. And Trinidad and Tobago is also preparing to dispatch additional assistance to affected areas. The United States has also pledged an initial $11 million in relief funding to assist communities severely affected by Hurricane Melissa. According to Charge d'Affaires Scott Renner, the donation will help provide emergency food assistance for about 40,000 people, establish 6 water treatment systems, and deploy mobile medical services, among other urgent recovery efforts.
Including Red Cross, UN World Food Program, Samaritan's Purse, Project Hope, and others, as well as direct assistance from the government. Direct assistance managed by the government. We have a JART team on the ground that is reviewing additional support with the government of Jamaica. The initial funding includes support such as emergency food supplies to an estimated 40,000 hurricane-affected people, installation of 6 water treatment systems, each with the capacity to provide 4,000 liters of safe drinking water per hour.
The Minister of Information, Dana Morris-Dixon, who is on the ground in St. Elizabeth coordinating relief efforts, is warning that traffic congestion is making it difficult for emergency teams to reach those in need. She's urging the public to avoid the affected routes unless absolutely necessary.
DF is working very hard to get the supplies to the people that need it. The problem we have is that there's traffic on both sides of the road, significant traffic that is preventing very important aid and assistance from getting where they need. We also have medics with us who are trying to get to those who may be injured, and we are struggling to get through the traffic. If you do not have to go down, please do not go down.
Meanwhile, after days of disruption from Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica's 2 main international airports are reopening. The Norman Manley International Airport, the NMIA in Kingston, resumed full operations on October 31, while Sangster International Airport, the MBJ in Montego Bay, reopened for limited commercial flights on the same day, despite damage to several gates. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz confirmed both airports are now receiving international flights, marking a major step in the nation's recovery. In a post on X, the minister shared Sunday flight schedule showing arrivals and departures from airlines including WestJet, Delta, American Airlines and Virgin Atlantic. Flights are now gradually resuming. Now, with nowhere to call home and rain still in the forecast, some residents in Parry Town, St. Anne, were eyeing the emergency shelter, a school next door, only to be reminded that safe space has its own serious issues too.
Melissa is a bad girl. You think you're a bad girl, but Melissa better than me.
Tanisha says she feels stuck in her space and her mind, with cleaning up only in her thoughts.
Stress out. Stress out and I can't show us I'm stress out. So one of them mentally let me go through right now. I'm not trying to clean it up, but don't know clean it up but now work.
So we're looking.
Yeah, watch it through you clip the chip down that long time and think that it just take everything from you down there. This side say it's gone a fire back on Melissa. Melissa come to take it gone. Zinc on the back so zinc out there so. All of me will stop this side to get up and walk.
This is crazy.
So where's that gone?
Back. So nothing left.
That's a run out.
Everything wet, all the matches, 2 water do, and put the next one.
She's also struggling with the fact that she did all she possibly could to push back against Melissa.
Me strap down and they up there so, by concrete house up.
Yeah.
But other than that, the roof, that's the side side, it gone with Melissa. I strap down before me cut out, it's strap down.
What the house?
Yeah. Strap down, and everything, black and everything upon it.
Come like a 10 lion apart with him. It's strong. He decided to nah, late for who? Next time, he's strong, man.
I told you, breeze will do. Oh, God. I don't know my breeze will.
While before Melissa was in her hands, she's at a loss about after, praying help will materialize soon.
The manpower wouldn't be a problem. I just like materialistic part of it to help bring it back. Yeah.
Such as?
Such as couple 2 before start back that the side, the back side there, so plyboard, zinc maybe, depending on when we done. Knock them out to see if they can use back. Basically that. Flooring, we can provide that. Stuff like that.
How many kids do you have?
2 boys. 1 in high school. 1 soon start art. probably have to get pushed back a little bit. Yeah, I don't know which part to start. I don't know if I go back at work. Well, I should have done work today, but as I say, I don't know how to reach at work because I don't know which part to start from to actually go work. I look hard for left the stuff like this to go to work. I don't know how I'm going. So, still have to go back any which way I'm taking.
Yeah.
So I have to go probably leave them by school.
The only problem, though, the school, Parry Town Primary and Infant, the emergency shelter, has its own challenges too. Ian Bell is the chairman of the school and also councillor for the Beecher Town division.
The school has been really badly hit. 6 classrooms so far have been affected. If you look immediately behind me, you will see rebels of the zinc on the roof that is assembled there. The rest of it, would have been gone.
Gone like Miss Charmaine's property too, leaving her with the bare minimal she had on in the dark.
I never knew that this time was so wicked and crucial. I remember saying, when the house was a boom, boom. And then afterward, we said, murder! Everything gone. I don't have nowhere to sleep, I don't know clothes to put on right now. Not even a panty. Everything wet. I remember my son are going and come out.
She says she took refuge in the only spot left standing.
This before?
No, sir, not even Gilbert when wicked, so. Yeah, in my toilet, I have to itch up. And put my 2 foot them. Because the water run in there. I have to put my 2 foot. I set up on one basket. That's why I have arthritis in my foot.
Meanwhile, the chairman is hoping students of the Parry Town Primary and Infant School will not be further traumatized by being deprived of releasing Melissa's history as a test.
We would not like to know that the resumption of school is hampered for any significant amount of time because, we want to make sure that we have an educated nation. And we know that it is really bad. We don't know what the instructions we will get from the ministry, but I'm hoping and I'm appealing to them that they will send some emergency aid for us to deal with the roof of the school so that school will be able to resume at the earliest possible time.
And with communication lines down and power still out in several sections of Western Jamaica, one woman is pleading for help in reconnecting with her loved ones. She says she hasn't heard from her family since Hurricane Melissa. Kevin Black tells us more.
I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't do nothing. I'm worried about them.
Cut off by widespread power outages and poor signals since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, a Westmoreland woman is making a desperate appeal for information on her family's whereabouts.
I don't matter if them house stop gone. I want to know they have food and them is alive. That's all I care about right now. I'm very worried. Mr. Hales, if you could just tell us if Retreat is safe, Red Road, and Moreland Hill, Delta and Moreland Hill. I'm looking for most of those people. I get a call from Grange Hill, but I don't get nothing from that side, and I'm very, 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 very worried.
Like many across the parish, she says her repeated attempts to make contact have failed due to the extensive communication disruptions and damaged infrastructure left behind by the hurricane.
Tuesday before the storm, I called them. I never hear from them, never again. They said we can't go to Westmoreland. We have stuff to bring down there. They said the road is not working, so there is no way I can go. But I would just wonder if the government could give us one of these big buses that more higher, even for we to pay with money to go down there, to tell we where to board the bus. Because we need to go and see with family. There's a lot of people here who want to see them family. I'm very, very worried. I'm very worried. Very, very worried.
Miss McNeil says she's holding on to hope that her family members are safe, but is urging anyone in or near those communities to assist in relaying messages of reassurance.
I know they're not going to have no house to live in, but that is not the problem because we don't know the problem already. The problem is we want to know them still alive and they're not hungry. My sister, a nurse, she had diabetes, so I'm worried about her. Very worried about her. My telephone number is 4755-215.
With communication and power still being restored across the western parishes, Many are in a familiar situation, waiting anxiously for word from loved ones. Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
Now, the National Water Commission, the NWC, says it has deployed field teams across the island to respond to the mass destruction, with significant focus, however, on the western parishes. Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the Commission, Delano Williams, says debris and blocked roadways are challenging, delaying full restoration efforts. But the NWC notes major towns, including the corporate area, are expected to have normal supply by this weekend.
Our teams can report that for Hanover, except for our logwood system and those that are coming back online over the last 24 hours, we have a total shutdown. So too for Westmoreland, so too for, well, we're about 90% for St. Elizabeth, and St. James also has a significant number of systems that are impacted. Where we are as well in terms of major systems, our facility at the Great River, there is a bridge which the pipeline crosses, and that entire 32-inch pipeline for about 200 feet of pipeline was entirely washed away. So as we speak, there is an emergency response where our contractor is now reinstalling that pipeline in order to facilitate water supply distribution into St. James, sections of Hanover, substantially. We are in fact mobilizing generators to the key sites, Martha Bray, the Logwood system coming east into St. Anne, our Bogue system going all the way out to Portland. Similarly, in the Black River area, Westmoreland area, we're targeting the placement of the generators to ensure the continuity of water supply. As access becomes available, we will move water trucks, water filling stations into those, and our contractors, plus our own fleet at the NWC, has been already mobilized and put on notice so they can get to the sites as quickly as possible.
Also, in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, several communities across Portland remain without electricity. In Port Antonio, residents have been lining up at gas stations for hours, hoping to secure much-needed fuel for their generators. Kevin Black reports.
1 hour, no connection with phone, nothing hour.
Long lines snaked through sections of Port Antonio, Portland at the weekend as residents rushed to fill jugs and containers with gasoline. The demand comes amid continued power outages across the parish following the passage of Hurricane Melissa earlier this week.
Why not I get a good gas and I'm opening my generator? Nothing like good gas. Nothing. Ask them people, this is a man ever for me. And I know, nothing we don't get.
Long time I wait 2 hours right now. Right now move for that. Right now.
Many residents say the wait has been frustrating, but necessary, as food supplies risk spoiling and nighttime security remains a concern.
Everything up beside us, right? Everything is at gas, right? Mad in a Jamaica. So I just think we have to try very proud of it. And we have to learn to help each other. Isn't it? Then we are getting angry and frightened. It don't make no sense. Because we just cooperate.
Operators at the gas stations have seemingly been struggling to keep up with the surge in demand. But for now, residents in Port Antonio are holding on to whatever fuel they can get, hoping the lights and normal life will return soon. Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
The People's National Party, the PNP, has kicked off its first official relief mission in Westmoreland, rallying volunteers and party members in a bold push to bring aid and hope to storm-ravaged communities. We will have more for you later on. A city-wide assessment and cleanup operation is also ongoing in the corporate area as efforts intensify to restore normalcy. The operation is being led by the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby. Carla Ramdeen reports.
Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby today led a team from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation on an assignment tour following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The team included the CEO, City Engineer, Deputy Superintendent of Works, Disaster Preparedness Coordinator, City Inspector, and his own Technical Coordinator. After receiving an initial report from officers, the mayor and his team toured several parts of Kingston to assess the extent of the damage.
We started a tour of the city, sections of the city. We started downtown where we went to the waterfront area, and we have seen sections of the seawall capping have been compromised. We also led a team headed by the city inspector where we started a cleaning up campaign in the parade area.
Mayor Swaby says the National Works Agency has already begun clearing debris from sections of downtown. The mayor also visited sections of Stony Hill where the National Solid Waste Management Authority and the Jamaica Public Service were carrying out restoration work. He's urging residents in those areas to be extremely careful of live wires and other hazards.
I want to ask residents to be very careful because we don't know if these wires that are on the ground are live wires that can cost lives.
The team also visited areas in the West Rural St. Andrew constituency to assess the damage.
Well, we went to sections of West Rural St. Andrew constituency, areas such as Trackgate, Bowder Hill, Clarks Hill, Lunar, and Border. And we have seen where a lot of land slippages, blocked road, fallen trees, and fallen utility wires. I must commend the members of the community, various communities where we have noticed where they have all teamed up and rolling up their sleeves and making sure that they're trying to bring back their community to normalcy. They have been cutting the fallen trees in smaller pieces and also clearing the road.
The mayor says he will be calling a meeting of the Parish Disaster Committee early next week where councillors and agencies will give a report on the impact the hurricane had on their divisions to chart a way forward.
I must say that some of them have reported some of these incidents to the City Engineer Department. After this, we will make sure that we look at the entire report and we will chart a course of action. It is important to note that we will also partner with the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development in trying to restore our city to normalcy.
Meanwhile, Parish Disaster Coordinator Terry Forrester says shelters operations remain active as the cleanup phase continues.
We had approximately 65 shelters open with about 950 persons in the shelter. Well, currently we have persons returning home. However, there are some persons who still are at the shelter, and our shelter managers remain steadfast and on standby to manage the shelters in the need. We are partnering with our partners of the Welfare Subcommittee, which is chaired by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. So we have a number of agencies partnering to ensure that we go house to house to determine what are the needs of the affected persons.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Now, Hurricane Melissa also wreaked havoc on several courthouses, among them the Rodney Memorial Building, which houses the St. Catherine Parish Courthouse in Spanish Town. Aside from announcing the relocation of its services and revealing that experts deemed the current building unfit for use, the Court Administration Division is seeking the public's cooperation and patience amid the myriad changes and inconveniences. Do stay with us. We'll continue right after this break.
take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome back. Well, we do have Farming Forward for you, and this week we look at the operations at the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, on all things coffee. Here's Giselle Mills.
Welcome to another episode of Farming Forward. Last week we were in Blue Mountain, where we visited Mr. Rodney, a coffee farmer. This week, as promised, we dig deeper in the coffee industry. We are at JACRA. Let's see what this episode has to offer you. Stay tuned. This is Patrick Peterson. And what's your position, Mr. Peterson?
I'm the acting senior director for the coffee division here at JACRA.
Okay, and he's going to take us through the process of what happens behind the scenes at the warehouse.
So JACRA takes custody of all green bean exported from Jamaica. Hence we have to have a warehouse to manage that inventory. So here at the warehouse, our dealers, which is also our licensees, who deliver their coffee here. Once the coffee is ready for delivery, and we give them the go-ahead to deliver. In fact, we accept deliveries from Monday to Wednesdays. So once they are given the green light to take their product here and the coffee reaches, then you would have a warehouse coordinator who ensures that the documentation is the product that is delivered is consistent with the document, which is what we call a request for export, which is RFE. So once you look at the RFE and ensure that the information, for example, the product name, the product type, the destiny of the product, quantity of the product, all of that is consistent with what is on the document, then the shipment is accepted in our warehouse.
The two broad categories of products that are delivered to the warehouse, according to Patrick, are premium grades and non-premium grades, Jamaica Blue Mountain and High Mountain coffee.
And Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is any coffee that is grown within the geographical designated region of the Blue Mountain. And the High Mountain is pretty much any other coffee that is grown outside of the Blue Mountain. All right, so that speaks to the categories. Yes. Now, within the categories, you also have grades. So in the premium grades that I've mentioned earlier, you'd have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and P-Berry. And in the non-premium grades, you'll have the P-Berry Select, Select, and Fines. Now the difference between the premium grades and the non-premium grade is that the premium grade is packaged in wooden barrels.
Oh.
Yeah, because the quality of the coffee is key to the inherent characteristics of the coffee, and customers come to know and love those characteristics, so you try to preserve those.
We stopped by the office of the Acting Director General, Wayne Hunter, for a fun stop on how he likes his coffee. He beamed with excitement as he expressed the joy his favorite black coffee brings him.
A cup of Blue Mountain coffee in the morning kickstarts the day, plus another one at about 1 o'clock that ends the day. It gives me a particular energy in the morning and in the afternoon. The taste is fantastic. True Jamaican coffee, fantastic.
Seeing the operations of Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, in real time was an amazing experience. We